Aliens out of the riverbeds, they just flatten everything. I'll show you down here how we do it. We plant the indigenous and we just do this with the aliens. So we use the alien plants as the pioneer plants, plant all the indigenous stuff, and then as the indigenous stuff grows we take out the aliens. Some of the other methods, they go and they flatten everything, they bring in DEET bulldozers, which weigh tons. I don't know what the effects of that's on the biomass and everything living in the soil, but it must be radical. So we're doing it a different way to a lot of the sort of, but it's a cost factor. You know, to go in and clear things like on the Berg River, it definitely is the most cost effective. So rather than doing something and we get in afterwards and plant the indigenous trees than do absolutely nothing. But the whole idea, the way we do it, is that it gives the bees and all the insects time to adapt from gum to the natural stuff. You know, if we take out the gum completely, a lot of the bees have adapted only to gum, or eucalyptus or various other indigenous trees. So it's a matter of how one does it. No, the whole idea of getting the indigenous plants is to stop the erosion, because a lot of the gums and pines and things, they suck up a huge amount of water, and their root system is not as good for anti-erosion as a lot of the indigenous stuff. They're indigenous, so what we do, we literally find the very few trees that are still here, indigenous trees, and we go at the right time of year, depending on the species, collect the seeds and then replant them back in the same area where we picked them up. Because they have, a lot of these rivers have been devastated, so sometimes it's very difficult for us to find trees in certain areas, but we do find them now and then, and from one tree we can get 3,000-4,000 seedlings off it. So. No, we picked them in the wild.
You picked them
yeah,
in the wild?
we actually got permission from Cape
Nature.
What
about
we do, but we only use heirloom seed. No, not really. We order them over internet, or we've got various contacts in Cape Town and around the country where we get them from, friends, people like that. We grow a lot of our own heirloom seeds here now. No, I think let's go around, and I'm certainly not an expert in everything, but I can show you around.
Communicating, and what I love is the fact that you're taking the seeds from the situs, from the same area, and you're putting them back. So it's like bringing them back into the family. And trees talk, don't they?
I'm convinced trees communicate. They definitely do. I mean, there's no question. If giraffes are eating acacia there, all the acacia trees around start putting out a bitterness to stop the giraffe eating them. Yeah. So you see the giraffe eat here, and then he goes right over there to eat, because these ones have already put out a bitter flavor into their leaves. So there's a communication. How it works, I don't know. But I don't know how cell phones talk to each other. So, you know, there's a lot of communications out there we don't know. But I'm 100% convinced trees communicate.
We're going to see that today if we can.
Yeah, I've tied up today because all the university stuff.
You're not in agreement that this way, you're just saying that it has improved.
Yeah, no, I've got an agreement. But, no, one of the worst sprays that we used to experience, but I haven't seen it much lately, is a thing called winter oil. And basically what they did, it was sprayed on the trees as they started to bud, and it arrested, literally suffocated everything. So the buds that were starting were suffocated. So the other buds internally could get up to the same sort of level of budding, and it had a certain sort of lifespan, and then when it left they would all bud together. So it saved the farmers a lot of money, because they could then pick once or twice instead of 3 or 4 times as it budded naturally. So it was done for that, but that killed everything. I mean, insects, everything. It was terrible stuff. But as I say, I haven't seen it used for a while. Not in this area anyway.
Thank you.
At least in the last 15 years, all the chemicals, including herbicides, have an adjuvant, which is designed to make the chemicals stick to whatever. They stick to everything. So people everywhere has, instead of before where it would disperse, it now sticks. And so I think that's why everybody's getting more sick these days than before. And I've heard that they use aluminium. So the air is full of aluminium, and already our water supply has alum in it, so there's just an oversupply of aluminium. Growing problem. Yeah. So that's why people have chest problems and dermatitis, and because it's just sticking to everything. And our water supply in Stellenbosch always smells and tastes like whatever is being sprayed at. Could be like in the winter it smells like herbicide, in the summer it smells and tastes like insecticide. So whatever's being sprayed is getting in the water somehow or other.
Natural trees that grow naturally in the rivers and that we propagate from seed and put back in the rivers. In these beds here, we've got 46,000 seedlings, which are going to go into about 32 schools within Biosphere Reserve, and the rest get planted into settlements and various other private homes for food security. All of these trays are filled with vegetables.
Wow, okay.
So
Amazing.
we go in every week. We've got a team going into various communities, distributing seedlings, setting up the gardens, teaching people how to make compost, that sort of thing. All vegetables, yeah. These are just flowers for somebody wanting to plant them, one of the volunteers. And then once they get to a certain size, we then prick them out, put them into, here's a lot of these, you'll see that must be 6 or 8 in one plug. These are 220 plug trays. So all this gets planted out, given away, we don't sell anything. Those have come up in the last 24 hours. You must know these.
No?
And the keyhole gardens with the compost heap in the middle.
Oh, I love it. Explain it.
Well, basically what it is, it's a raised bed, so we put sticks and cardboard and anything underneath. Here's the compost heap in the middle, so you don't have to fertilize it, it just leaches out from the compost. And we've put a lot of these into, old age homes, informal settlements, things like that. They work for two reasons. People that can't bend down, it's easy for them to garden. It's self-generating. And in a lot of the areas they've got pigs, so they can't have gardens. This is fantastic. You put them in, and it's all made from alien timber. It's taken out where the aliens have been cleared out of the rivers, and you can easily feed a family off this. I mean, this has now just been revamped, but we had them where we put the overhead gardens. You pick pumpkins here, and hold back there was tomatoes and climbing plants and beans. But when we finish the centre at Stellenbosch, there'll be a whole example of all of this. So we bus the communities in and take them there for a whole day, and they learn, and everything's done with recycled materials, so it costs nothing.
So these are some of the alien...
Yeah, just alien things.
Taken out
Often,
and-
municipalities always chopping down things, so everything we use is, we make it in such a way that anybody can do it, no matter what their financial incomes are.
Cost of
All of the stuff here we
vegetables
give
and
away.
seedlings is really expensive. So if they couldn't, how would they get a supply of that?
Just finest. All of this stuff here, we've got people, volunteers, just planting all the time. So we've normally got between 30 and 40,000 seedlings in stock all the time.
Wow.
So it's done through volunteers and things like that, and we propagate a lot of our own seeds, so it doesn't cost us much. Everything's reused, yeah.
And where do the volunteers come from? The local community?
Local communities, beauty of having Jan Marais is right in the middle of the university, so we've got about 150 students signed up as volunteers, and then we get volunteers from Luxembourg. They come here for 6 months at a time, and normally we've got at least 2 or 3 of them, and then we get interns and woofers, and so it's all done on a shoestring.
Sculptures?
Yeah, that's just a friend of mine. They do the molds, and then of course they make a bronze thing, so I just take his original one. Yeah, the only pesticide we use here, we grow the chilies and we grow the garlic. There's the chilies you can see there, here's the wild garlic, things like that. We put that in a liquidizer, we then filter it and put it into a back spray, and we spray that. That's the only thing we spray here. We do, I mean, you'll see some of them eating it. Chickens are the worst, they come and eat the bugs and eat everything else as well. We just plant enough for everybody. So we've always got a supply. All our staff virtually feed off this garden as well. And the bugs also eat it, so we're really not worried if there's two, but it'll just reduce it. Oh yeah, we see it especially in the ECD schools, which we supply from this garden as well. Those kids are definitely, you could see a change after 5 or 6 months. They were definitely healthier, there's no question of that. Because they were literally living on rice on Monday, pasta on Tuesday, samp. They got no minerals or vitamins in their diet or meat at all. So if we deliver, in summer when it's really flourishing here, we deliver between 80 and 120 kilos a week. So that's definitely adds to their diet. Oh, I've never really measured it out, but it's quite, I'll show you up, it goes right up past the red bus there. Yeah, probably a bit more.
Okay.
Probably a bit more, because we literally, between the pear trees, that's where we plant. So every piece of ground's used. We haven't taken the pear trees out to make the vegetable garden. They're planted 4 meters apart, so we've got 3-meter vegetable gardens right up through the pear orchard. Everything grows together.
Yes, and that's just what it should be. Just utilizing the land, utilizing what is around, and what I love is his principle of sharing and giving of his knowledge and giving of the seeds and passing them on. I think it's just extraordinary, and he's a man of the times. You know?
Yeah, the other thing we're researching